So I'm looking out over the city here, and I'm thinking, man, it would be so much fun to be a giant monster wreaking havoc on the city. But you can't really do that unless you're playing a video game like Godzilla Domination for the Game Boy Advance. I got my SP out right now, and I gotta say, this game looks pretty good. There's lots of nice background environment stuff, lots of stuff to destroy. You got jets and UFOs and helicopters and things flying by, and they're shooting at the monsters. That's all fun. You got Godzilla, you got Rodan, and you got Mechagodzilla, you got Mothra, you got Megalon with the sort of spiky things. He's pretty cool. You get 5 to start off with, and then you can unlock one. Whoopee! That's not good enough. It's just like the Godzilla game that you saw on the GameCube. It's coming to other consoles as well. You can have 4 monsters battling at the same time, whether that's you against 3 computer-controlled monsters, or you can actually link a Game Boy up to other Game Boys, and if everybody's got a different cartridge, they can play as different monsters. If you're only playing off of one cartridge, everybody's got to be the same monster, which is kind of lame, right? You want to play as different monsters. And the other problem with the game, too, is that even though it's a fighting game and you got some special moves and some special attacks, you can pretty much take out the monsters with one sort of big swipe move. I mean, all you do in this game is jump up and swat the guy, or jump up and kick the guy. You back things up into the corner, and, you know, you take down the monsters like that. There's no real skill involved in this thing, and because there's only 6 monsters to see, well, it gets boring really quickly. You know, I think that if you're a giant, enormous, huge Godzilla fan, and you got to collect everything with the name Godzilla on it, and these are the licensed Godzilla monsters, by the way, you might get a kick out of this Game Boy Advance game. For me personally, though, it left a lot to be desired. I can't recommend this thing. I'm going to give it a 4.5 out of 10. Godzilla Domination didn't dominate me. One thing about Vegas you can always count on is there's always lots of construction, which kind of ties into the game we're about to talk about now. This one's called Disaster Report,
right,
and it's published by Agitech for the PlayStation 2. What do you think of this one?
This is a great concept. You know, I really wanted to fall in love with this game because it's such a unique concept. Basically, you're like this reporter guy,
right,
who gets trapped.
First day on the job.
Gets trapped
Bad
in
luck.
an earthquake. The cool thing about the game is every time the earthquakes happen in the game, the rumble pack starts going off.
You see the bridge, and you get the sense of how far up you are,
right,
and how far the pieces are falling. Very cool effect. You help people through this disaster, right? So there is a little bit of that sense of this being like Eco. You know, you need some help to climb up to different areas, and you've got to protect everybody. There's a responsibility to sort of, you know, making sure that everybody survives through the game. It's very innovative that way.
No!
I think this is one of the only games that has the hey button in the game. You press the button and it goes, hey!
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 Right, yes, I wanted other characters to say, what?
Exactly,
You can walk right up to them and go, hey!
Yeah, what? I'm dying over here, leave me alone.
Hey! Hey! Hey!
The biggest problem is the fact that you can't control the camera angles.
Yeah, I wish that you could.
You can't have a fun experience with a game like this unless the camera angles are properly worked out, and they just didn't do it. The worst thing they screwed up, and I think this is my new favorite game for hating the footstep sound.
This is a major pet peeve for you, isn't it?
Well, I mean, the sound they use is literally the worst footstep sound I've ever heard.
Right. We're going to get t-shirts made up, invisible walls, footsteps. What do you think?
And that's it.
I also didn't like the fact that you have these health meters and you have like a thirst meter, but you can find so much water all over the place. You can carry huge honking bottles of water, so you never really go thirsty. You never like have to search around for it. And the health kind of regenerates, so unless you get crushed and you're dead with one big hit, you don't really need to find anything to help yourself get healthy again either, you know? So that kind of takes a lot of the drama out of this dramatic game. even though this game has got lots of little bugs and problems, and it's not the most defined and elegant game I've ever played in my life.
It is unique.
It is very unique.
And they do something different, which we love to see, and it's getting points for that.
Absolutely.
I really wanted to love it, like an Eco or a Mr. Mosquito or something. It had that weird kind of vibe to it, but it just fell short. The camera angle thing really screwed it for me.
What are you going to give it?
7.5.
I'm going to give it a 7 out of 10. Good game.
On the positive side, when the earthquakes happen in the game, the rumble feature really gets you involved. The whole concept of this game is completely unique. But the best part of the game is the fact that they incorporate a hey button.
On the negative side, we found a lot of problems with the static camera angles. Because you can find health and water all over the place, there isn't a lot of drama to this dramatic game. But worst of all, no one ever says what when you say hey. You guys know that Tommy and I travel all over the place to review games, and one of the things that we always run into problems with in our hotels is that there's no way to plug in the little video adapters, the RCA cables that these systems have. So we've needed to find an RF output thingy. And I think we found the perfect one here. This one's from Madcatz.
That's right.
It's the 3-in-1 jobby RF unit. It can connect to any of the 3 major systems, plus the N64 and the PlayStation 1, which is really cool.
Scenario.
All right.
You're at Grandma's house.
Okay, we're at Grandma's house.
She don't have a new TV.
She doesn't have a new TV, no.
She don't got one.
She doesn't have one, no. That's correct.
And the only input is an RF thingy poo.
Yeah, the one that you have the cable vision in.
Now let's say that you want to take on Grandma in a death match in Halo.
A little Slayer match.
Let's say that.
All right, okay.
And so you don't want to wheel the old bag of bones out of your room to your house. You want to hook it up right there. This is the device that will allow you to do this.
Best part is it's only about 13 bucks.
That's right.
This is a great thing, especially if you're on the road traveling like we are, playing our games all over the place, or if you happen to be a sad sack and you have a really old television.
That's right.
And that's the only way you can play your games.
I would hate to have a sad sack.
You definitely have to pick this thing up. It's called the Madcatz RF 3-in-1 Adaptor.
Now, the other thing I want to add about this, and this I think is really cool and very important.
Yep.
It's black.
It is black. It's very cool. It's very important. We're going to recommend it.
It's black.
On the positive side, this thing only costs $13. It has all 3 inputs, so you can play the Xbox, PlayStation 2, GameCube, Nintendo 64, and PS1 with this device. And it's black.
On the negative side, if you don't have an RF television, you might as well wipe your with this thing.
Wipe your that thing? We're going to be right back with a look at White Up for the Xbox.